Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. On the left, you've got the sender. That's you, initiating the payment from your sender UPI app, like Google Pay, PhonePe, Paytm, etc., linked to your sender acquiring bank and your sender issuing bank. Your issuing bank is where you have your account, and the acquiring bank is the bank connected to your specific UPI app. On the right, you've got the receiver, who is going to get the money, using their receiver UPI app linked to their receiver acquiring bank and receiver issuing bank. In the middle, this big colorful logo is NPCI, the National Payments Corporation of India. These guys are the absolute backbone of the entire UPI system. They are the switch that connects all the different banks and payment apps. And then you have the bank backends, like HDFC backend and ICICI backend shown here. This is where the actual debiting and crediting of money happens in the bank systems. Now, let's follow the flow of a typical payment, step by step, using the numbers on the diagram. It all starts with the sender opening their UPI app and initiating a payment. The sender's UPI app talks to the sender acquiring bank. The sender acquiring bank sends a request, often called an API call, to NPCI. This request includes details like the amount and the receiver's UPI ID, VPA, virtual payment address. NPCI gets this request and needs to figure out which bank the receiver is with. It validates the receiver's VPA. NPCI then routes the request to the receiver acquiring bank. The receiver acquiring bank talks to the receiver issuing bank to confirm the account details linked to the VPA. The receiver issuing bank sends confirmation back to the receiver acquiring bank. The receiver acquiring bank confirms with NPCI. NPCI now sends the request back to the sender acquiring bank. The sender acquiring bank then connects to the sender issuing bank, where your money is. It sends a request to verify and debit the amount from your account. This is where you might enter your UPI PIN. If the PIN is correct and funds are available, the sender issuing bank debits the money from your account and sends a success message back to the sender acquiring bank. The sender acquiring bank informs NPCI about the successful debit. NPCI now tells the receiver acquiring bank that the money is ready to be credited. The receiver acquiring bank instructs the receiver issuing bank to credit the money to the receiver's account. The receiver issuing bank credits the account and sends a success confirmation back to the receiver acquiring bank. The receiver acquiring bank informs the receiver UPI app. And finally, the receiver UPI app shows a completed message and pushes a notification to the receiver's phone. Mention backend and settlement. All this happens incredibly fast, often within seconds. While this is happening, the bank's backends, like HDFC and ICICI shown here, are busy processing these transactions. See that section in the bottom left, the bulk settlement file? At the end of the day, or at set intervals, NPCI and the banks reconcile all the transactions that happened. They figure out which bank owes money to which bank based on all the transfers and settle the accounts in a batch process, often using the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, to facilitate the actual movement of funds between banks. This is how the net amounts are settled between all the different banks involved. Down here, you can see NPCI as switch again. This visually reinforces that NPCI is the central hub connecting all the different payment apps, PhonePe, Paytm, Google Pay, etc., with all the different acquiring banks and issuing banks. The payment apps use API calls to communicate with the NPCI system and the banks. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tech breakdowns.